Hello, my name is Liam Dreyer. I'm Chief Executive Officer of Government for Tomorrow, and I'm right outside the Kentucky Public Library Association conference. We've been invited as a speaker here, so I'll be doing that shortly, but I first wanted to share with you a conversation I had with Mailey Hamilton, who's a student on East Jordan's Downtown Development Authority, and this conversation is a part of a new show called Students Making History, where our organization features a student who we helped assume a local government position that often breaks the history of a town. And Mailey Hamilton is the March feature of this new show and our very first episode. So please enjoy. So fun fact, Mailey, you were one of the very first student members in Michigan who were a part of Government for Tomorrow. I think you were appointed in late 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to think how much has changed since now and then. I mean, with the organization and the world. I mean, but we can get into those details later. First, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a junior at East Jordan High School. I play tennis and golf, and I like to be involved in the school. I've started a book club and a Bible study, and in the summer, I work at my family's fudge and ice cream shop in Central Lake.
So you're pretty accomplished. What colleges are you looking at? I mean, with all of those accolades, I'd imagine you have a wide selection.
Yeah, I love Michigan. I think I want to stay in Michigan, so I guess my top two right now are like Michigan or Michigan State.
University of Michigan is really nice, and State. They have a James Madison program with a great poli-sci course. And as important as bolstering that college application is, I think a distinguishing factor or feature with the extracurricular activity of being a student member is that the experience enriches so much more than a resume. I mean, you have a community history-making position that few other students share in the entire state. What's that like? What's it like serving on the East Jordan DDA in a student position?
Yeah, it feels so great to be able to represent my peers and offer up a different perspective to the board. And throughout the whole time I've been on the board, everyone's been super welcoming, super friendly, and it's just been really eye-opening into all of the thoughts and processes that go into every decision for our downtown.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty great answer. And I don't mean to circle back immediately to education, but on top of all that, I'm sure some are wondering, has this experience been educational?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've learned so much about local government, and there's so many things that I never thought would be needed to take into consideration, so many tiny details that are really interesting, and I'm pretty sure I know more about zoning laws than the average 17-year-old.
Oh yes, very useful information, but it really is about deciphering all those technicalities, and that type of skill is translatable to really whatever field you go into. And you alone spearheaded youth involvement in East Jordan. And given that your position is relatively unprecedented in East Jordan, what impact do you think you've made?
Yeah, I love being able to set that precedent, like you said, and knowing that I got to be the one to pave the way for all the students that come after me is pretty great. And I think the presence of a high school student at any board, but especially like me and East Jordan, it just emphasizes to the board that like we students care about government and what decisions are being made that will impact our future. And I think that's a really cool aspect of this program.
Definitely. And talking maybe in the more specific sense, since I've served on the Charlevoix DDA, I'm a student member on the Charlevoix DDA, and that's kind of how this whole process started. I noticed that I had this little novelty in a corner of northern Michigan, and I saw its benefits and saw that it had the potential to expand to a much greater thing. Since I've served on the Charlevoix DDA, a lot of very inspirational things have changed my view of public participation itself. Can you tell any stories? I mean, it could be funny or inspirational or really anything interesting from the DDA.
Yeah, I would say one of my biggest takeaways from being on the DDA is just the elevated sense of pride in my community. I learned so many things that if I wasn't on the board, I wouldn't know about. Like, we've won some pretty amazing awards since I've been on there for different projects. And it's just also amazing to see how many people we have in our community that are actively working to make it a better place.
Yeah, and they really care, don't they? That's something that I was shocked when I first joined the DDA. The public really cares about the community's state. They want to see a thriving community. Yeah. And we, at Government for Tomorrow, we're trying to expand as rapidly as possible to match that thriving community, to help as many students as possible, to introduce a voice that is unprecedented in public discourse. Do you think cities should take that leap of faith and work with an organization like Government for Tomorrow to involve students?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's such a good opportunity for any kids interested in politics or just digging into their community deeper. And it doesn't get more real life than this. And I think that's the best way to learn about local government. And I think students play a large role in communities, so I think it's vital to hear our opinions.
Okay. So the student or the hypothetical student out there decides that they want to get involved, but they don't feel like they have the courage to take that next step. Government for Tomorrow has maybe been introduced into their community, and a position was created on their Downtown Development Authority, and now Government for Tomorrow is heading into schools, and an application is in front of this hypothetical student, but it's a lot to serve on a board with those people who are 20, 30, 40, 50 years older. Is being on a local government board worth it? Like, do you have any motivational words or advice for our peers who want to help out in their community but don't know if they have what it takes?
Yeah, I think you just kind of have to jump into it, and it may not feel comfortable at first, but I think nothing worth doing ever is. And I can't stress enough how warm and inviting everyone on my DDA board has been to me, and it really doesn't feel like you're an outlier at all. I know mine at least, really welcome me and really want to hear my opinions. And I think a big component of it isn't just sharing your opinions, but also about learning. So I definitely didn't get involved because I knew everything there was to know about local government. I got involved because I wanted to learn more. And I think the adults on the DDA board or any board realize that they're there to learn and want to help you as much as possible. And I think it's definitely worth doing.
Well, I hopefully those words of advice push some students out there to get involved in their community. And from my understanding, Mailey, you're doing an absolutely fantastic job. I was presenting at a service club in East Jordan, and the mayor came up to me, and I believe it was the mayor, and told me that you were doing a fantastic job. So keep up the great work, and thank you for coming on and sharing a bit of your story.
Yes, thank you.